zu-wii-mama. Illager Beast build. Oh yeah. Hello guys, and yes, it's zu-wii-mama, and today we're back with a beast of a build. You see what I did there? Beast of a build. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We've got a massive build here, and I do apologise because it's obviously a nearly 20-minute long video, and that's the biggest video I've ever done. So I do apologise. There's going to be a lot of me waffling on, but also on screen you should see a list of the blocks that I used, just to make it easier for you. And let's get on to this. Here we go. We're going to be starting by here, and we're going to go 8 by 8. And again, there'll be like little pause sections like I have done in my previous videos, just to slow things down for you, and obviously pause when you need it, because there's going to be a lot of that in this build, I'm afraid, because there's quite a few intricate sections of the build, especially on the upper parts of the legs that have the chains and stuff around them. So yeah, just obviously pause it when you can. And not only that, you may notice that I've used brown, and if you look at the picture of the Illager Beast, it's got like it's like sort of grey, sort of brown. I did try with a few of the different colours, but this was one I sort of decided on that suited and looked the best. So it's entirely up to you. If you think, oh, it looks a bit silly because that brown's a bit too dark, try using like I said, one of the greys maybe. I mean, if not, you could even go into more detail, like I didn't exactly do that, because on the main body, if you had a look at the main body, there is actually sort of grey patches with sort of brown sort of in between that to sort of give it a bit more texture. But as you can see, I've obviously just gone with the straight single colour. And here's the first part of the intricate build that I was on about. So it's the lower part of the leg, and we're doing one of the front left leg, and there's a little pause section here, so pause it, get that pattern down. And then all we're going to do now is we're going to replicate that on the exact other side, okay? So the complete outside of the right leg, okay? So all we need to do is look across like I am here and just copy down the pattern, okay? So that's quite simple so far, all right? Now, once we've done that, we're then going to move on to the inner part of the leg. So as you can see there, and again, just pause it when you can. There should be a pause section right about here, and get that all down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do that again, and we're going to do it on the inside of the leg. So it is relatively straightforward, but believe you or me, it took a lot of work obviously getting this down, getting the right patterns down. And like I said, I did use the wiki to obviously look at the picture, obviously to get the right patterns going. And we're now doing the back part. So all we're doing is we're making a fancy square basically so far. There we go, nice pause section, that's both backs. And now we're going to do the front of the back legs. It does sound a bit confusing, backs, front, left, right, you know. Just copy what I'm doing on screen, it'll be fine. And as you can see there on the right hand side, that pattern is absolutely flipped compared to the one on the left. Okay, so now we're going to spin round and do this part of the leg. So like I said, you've noticed already there's a lot of pause sections. So this is probably the easiest way for me to do the video. If not, if I would have done it as a live video, there would have been a lot of me tinkering around, trying to get the right patterns down, and obviously a lot of flying around, a lot of like backwards and forwards. But this way, I think it's just simpler. Obviously, you can see what's going on. I can see what's going on. You can pause it. Yeah, so it just makes life easier. The only tricky part there that you need to figure out is what you're going to actually do with this beast. Now, you can obviously keep it as a statue, which is going to look absolutely fine in your world as it is. I mean, or you can even turn it into a house. You could even use it as some sort of, you know, farm maybe. You could have it as a mob farm or some sort of, I don't know, food farm. Who knows? One thing to mention now is we're obviously going on to the next part of the build, well, the sort of upper half of the front legs here, as you see, and we got some more of that intricate design work. And I just want to point out, you know, don't beat yourself up about the patterning, and if you've got, you know, misplaced a block or put the wrong block somewhere, you know, you've especially if you're doing it in survival mode, because I know how much of a, you know, of a heartache it is when you've built something, you've sort of jumped back down to have a look at the design from afar, and then you've noticed there's a block out of place. Now, what I'm saying is, just don't beat yourself up about it. You know, this build is so big, people are not going to realise or notice sort of small little anomalies that you've got with the build. And not only that, I might not have got it 100% accurate myself, alright? But we'll go on to that in a second, and I'll explain how I actually got the pattern in myself, okay? I just need to interject here quickly, because this is important. So once you've got this design, you need to get start from where I have and come out by 16 blocks, okay? So this is important that you get these dimensions right now, because we're actually building the head. And I made the mistake myself when I was actually building this thing. I built it wrong by 1 block, and when I come to actually place the eyes and the nose on, my face looked really wonky on top of the head, and it looked silly, okay? It looked like his face was falling off his head, okay? So just bear that in mind. And again, now make sure from that you've got a oh God, I'm having yes, you said it, I'm having a mouth fart. You need to come up 21 blocks high, okay? So you should have, and obviously, you know, fill in the edges, but as you can see, you should have a big sort of rectangle-y thing, okay? And then once you've done that, come up 8 from the base, and you're building on the 9th. Now this is where we're building the eyebrows, and from here you shouldn't really be able to get it too wrong, because once we get the eyes in place and the nose, we're sort of done with this section, okay? So I hope that made sense to that last oh God, I'm having another brain fart. I hope that made sense for that last part, okay? So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Just copy what I'm doing on screen. Anyway, going back to where I was what I was talking about earlier with the patterning. So essentially, I've got 2 versions of Minecraft. I've got one on the PlayStation, and I'm also using the one which I've recorded on in front of you on the Java edition. Now, on the Java edition, obviously, you can use a thing called spectator mode, where you can actually fly through. You can fly through the world. Essentially, you're a ghost. Okay, you can just nothing exists. You can just fly through everything, and I use that to my advantage. So all I did was spawned in a Illager Beast, and from that point I then did screenshots of the Illager Beast while it was encaged in a fenced area so it couldn't move, and did a lot of screenshots, and using those screenshots, that's how I obviously got the design work, and obviously the block placement of especially the intricate design, like I said. So you know, it might not be 100% accurate, like I said. I've did the best I can with the colours that I've got. But obviously, like I said, you know, mine's not 100%, so yours doesn't need to be as well, okay? So that's what I'm trying to get. That's the point I'm trying to get across here, okay? Here we go. So again, we've got some important sections here. So you need to go across by 8 blocks, and then we're going to go down by 6, and we're building on the 6th block, okay? So again, that is quite important, the placement, because we're onto the horns, as you can see. And while you're doing the horns as well, you need to do them out by 2, so it's not a one thin block layer. As you can see, I've did it by 2, okay? So that just gives it a bit more depth to the build, and then we're going to spin on and do it on the opposite side as well, okay? So I'm hoping by now it's all making sense, and if it isn't, just make sure you leave some comments in the comments section, and I'll do my best to obviously compensate and obviously let you know, answer any queries you got. If I've not explained some of the you know, dimensions and that right, just let me know. Okay, so now we're going on to the back portion. Well, the front legs, should I say, but we're spinning around. The front's pretty much done now. All we need to do, finish on the head, is the mouth, alright? So all we're going to do is come from this block here, and we're going to build up with brown up to this blue point. So we're going to be going up by 13 blocks, and we're going to build on the 14th, which is that blue one there, okay? So we're going to leave that there as a marker for now, and I'll explain further on later what I mean. And then all we can do is follow the brown round, and then we're going to come across by 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're leaving a 2-block gap where this orange is. Okay, that orange, just ignore it. It's just a marker block for me while I was doing the video. Okay, and then we're going to fill this in with brown as well, going up to the same point as the rest of it. Okay, so we should have something that looks a little bit like this, and we're going to replicate that on the opposite side as well. So we've got like a little 2-block gap between it all. Okay, so from that blue marker that we placed earlier, all I've done, and we're starting from the opposite side this time, this orange block there represents that blue marker. Okay, so I'm going to knock that out, there we go, and pop that blue in, and we're going to do a little pause section here, so then you can obviously get down at the patterning. Okay, so this, like I said, this was the easiest way for me to explain how to do this, because like I said, there's a lot of it. There really is, and this is a mammoth build. Like I said, I've not done a build this big before, so I apologise if I'm waffling about a whole load of nonsense. Okay, let's talk about the Illager Beast for a little while. Now, oh my god, when I first seen this beast, I was over the moon. I was thinking, I mean, look at it, it's huge. It does damage, it attacks crops, attacks villagers, and I thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. And then I noticed it had a saddle, and I thought, oh my god, wouldn't this be amazing if we can actually have this as a mob that we can actually tame and ride? But obviously, at the minute, it's quite sort of under the radar. We don't know what's going on yet. Obviously, there's been a lot of snapshots coming out on various of the consoles. So as of yet, no one's actually know if it's going to be introduced into the game, if it's, just speculation, especially from my half, thinking that this may be a mob that we can ride or tame. So who knows? We don't know yet. We'll find out, I'm sure, in due course time. I mean, the Illager Beast as well, it's got some great trivia bits about it on the wiki. So one of them is saying, due to its large amounts of health, the beast could be considered as a mini boss, which is, just need to interject quickly here, because just to let you know, this pattern here, as you can see, should be built on top of that little brown and blue lip that we just made a second ago. So as you can see, this pattern on top is literally 1 block below the top of the legs. Okay, so anyway, back to our conversation. Fair enough, because I've tried to battle this guy, and like I said, he is absolutely so tough to take down. It's ridiculous. And also the Illager Beast, if it's up against an Iron Golem, surprisingly enough, who do you think wins? It's the Iron Golem. So not quite as tough as the Iron Golem, but definitely does stack up quite close to the Iron Golem. Yeah, I mean, the attack strength for this guy, on easy, it's like 3.5 hearts. On normal, it'll do 6 hearts of damage, and on hard, he'll do 9 hearts of damage to you. So really, if you're playing on hard, be very, very cautious. Okay. Oh, and also the other thing that the Illager Beast will drop once you kill it is a saddle, which obviously, like I said, the speculation round being able to ride that thing, especially when it drops a saddle, to me, it's a bit iffy. I'm thinking perhaps you can actually ride it if it's dropping a saddle, but I might be completely wrong, which is probably going to be the case. But I thought that was very interesting that it will drop the saddle, considering you can't actually ride the thing. Because just imagine when you obviously kill a horse or a donkey, it will drop the saddle once you've equipped the saddle. So that's why I'm sort of leading towards a speculation that you possibly can tame this beast, but who knows? Like I said, it's just my opinion. I don't actually have a clue if you can or can't. So yeah, bit of odd, weird information for you. Okay, so I'm just going to leave you with the build for a minute, and I'm just going to put a little bit of background music on just while we sort of get nearer to the end of the video, and I will join back up with you just then. Okay, so I'll speak to you soon. Hiya, welcome back. So as you can see on the left hand side, we've got the mouth, which is one block dug into the actual head itself, and I've put black blocks on the inside, and on this side I've left it blank just so you can see. So it's your choice really if you want to have like a colour behind there like I have with black, or you can leave it see-through, so it's entirely up to you, but I just went with putting a black block on the inside just to give it that sort of bit of you know, bit of depth there, and obviously I think it looks a little bit better, but I mean it's entirely up to you. I mean, because actually on the Illager Beast itself, if you do look very, very closely, the Illager Beast does have its mouth sort of ajarred open, so it's entirely up to you how you do it, okay? And all we're going to do now is just fill the base in there. So actually now we are done. Congratulations, you have actually finished the build. And I'm just going to break a quick hole in here just to show you, and I'm probably going to drink a night vision potion just to show you the insides. And look at this, look how much room is actually on the inside of this baby. You've got obviously the 4 legs, which are absolutely, well, which are deep themselves. I mean, you could obviously build all sorts in here. You could build like a mob farm, I don't know, animal farm, a food farm, I don't know, a house, a base, or whatever. It's entirely up to you. I've been zu-wii-mama. I'll see you soon.